Peak Project by Sarah Bartholic. The purpose of the study was to test the effectiveness of the peak relational training system on an individual with a disability. The direct training module of the peak relational training system focuses on contingency-based or directly trained learning. Contingency-based learning is when correct responses to questions or instructions are increased by feedback following the response. This feedback could be praise, food, toys, etc. The participant in the study was a 2-year-old boy diagnosed with autism. We will call this boy Henry. These programs were implemented in Henry's home. The learning area consists of a small table and a chair in his living room. All the sessions took place in this location. The maximum length of each program was approximately 1 to 3 minutes long. A multiple base across skills design was used for all 3 programs implemented. The design was effective in measuring the skills learned. The first skill that was taught to Henry was modeled play. The goal for this program was to have Henry imitate simple actions with objects when shown in action. The materials used for this program were 4 small blocks. 2 blocks were placed in front of Henry and 2 in front of me. I stacked one block on top of the other and said, "Do this." The next program that was implemented was one-step motor imitation. The goal of this program was to have Henry imitate a motor action when one was presented to him. I would clap my hands and say, "Do this." Henry was expected to imitate that action after seeing it. The third and final program that was implemented was receptively labeling common objects. The goal of this program was to have Henry point to the correct picture when presented with an array of pictures. The materials used for this were pictures of common objects such as a bowl, spoon, and a fork. The instructions for this included, "Show me blank." Data was taken as follows on how many prompts it took for Henry to respond correctly. 0 meant no response after multiple attempts at prompts. 2 meant multiple prompts or reduced stimulus array eventually produced a response. 4, 2 prompts at most produced a response with full stimulus array. 8, 1 single prompt with verbal or visual nature. 10, independent accuracy on response with no prompt. This data and graph represents the results of implementing the modeled play program. Henry had a hard time with this program. He mostly needed multiple prompts during most of the sessions. He is still working on completing the task without needing at least 1 prompt. The following is the data in the graph for the one-step motor imitation program. Henry started out needing about 2 prompts on average for the first 4 sessions. The next 4 was an average of 1 until finally mastering the skill during the last 2 sessions. The data and graph represent the results of the receptively labeling common objects. Henry struggled with this program at first. It took him some time to catch on to the pointing to the certain objects. By the last session, he was able to catch on to what was being asked of him and mastered the skill. For the model play program, Henry needed multiple prompts for most of the sessions in order to imitate simple actions. By the 10th session, he needed 1 prompt in order to successfully complete the task. For one-step motor imitation, Henry mostly needed 2 prompts to complete the task until about the 5th trial. He then went on to only need 1 prompt and eventually mastered the skill by the last 2 sessions. For receptively labeling common objects, Henry did not seem to grasp the fact that he needed to point to the objects being asked. He caught on to the program and responded independently by the last session. It was clear that all 3 peak programs implemented with the client helped him increase his skill level in that area.